Are your players getting a little too confident? Do they search online for broken builds? Worst of all, are they playing chaotic neutral characters? Sounds like you need Vecna, destroyer of D&D parties since 1976. He's guaranteed to slay those pesky players and reassert your control at the table. All in one encounter or less. Don't believe me? Here's all the services Vecna has to offer. When you get Vecna's Eve of Ruin package, you're paying for one of the best lawyers out there, perfectly trained in arcane law. Your players might think they have some strong magic to use as evidence, but against this lich, it won't matter. Try to hit him with spells? Good luck getting past his wisdom save of plus 15 or a con save that numbers a plus 12. You could try to go for his lower stats, like strengths and charisma, but that's what his 5 legendary resistances are for. Even when you think you've found an edge, Vecna's one step ahead. Of course, that's if there's even legal precedent for whatever damage you're trying to throw at him. He resists cold, lightning, and necrotic damage while being completely immune to poison and anything non-magical. Good luck getting those charges to stick. Sometimes, Vecna won't even give your players the dignity of using whatever arguments they bring before the court. When an objection is needed, this lich is ready with one. He can take 3 reactions per round, with 2 options that each come with their own uses. First is his Dread counterspell. With a single word, any 4th level spell he sees being cast is no more, and if it's 5th level or higher, he can roll for it. If the judge grants his objection, the player who was foolish enough to try and use magic around the best mage they've ever seen takes psychic damage. What if we just use our weapons, they'll say. Your dumb players might think that's a good solution, but second is Vecna's Fell Rebuke. The moment he's hit by an attack, he can both deal damage to whoever struck him and teleport up to 30 feet away. That means he can easily get out of reach of the barbarian who just used all their movement to chase him down, or find some cover from the archer trying to snipe from range. No matter what they try, Vecna's always got an answer. When it's Vecna's time to cross-examine your players, they won't survive the questioning. Every turn, he gets to first use a spell or one of his most powerful abilities, and then attack twice with his dagger afterthought. Let's start with his spell casting. He can cast Lightning Bolt at will, blasting through your party's lines, or use protective spells like Globe of Invulnerability and Dispel Magic to thwart your players' plans. Or why not have one of them cross the aisle and join his legal team? Dominate Monster will force your players to target one of their own. Underhanded, sure, but he's a lawyer. What do you expect? When he really wants to needle those witnesses, he has 2 options. First is Flight of the Damned, a recharge ability that will blast anyone in a 120-foot cone for an average 36 necrotic damage if they fail a save, and frighten them if they don't succeed. Or maybe he just really wants to stick it to one of them. Then he can use Rotten Fate, forcing a player to make a DC 22 Constitution save or suffer 96 points of necrotic damage, on average. Forget the book, he's throwing the whole library at him. If that's not enough, Afterthought isn't an afterthought in his legal attacks either. It doesn't deal much damage initially, but any player hit by it takes an additional 2d8 necrotic damage at the start of their subsequent turns. The only way to stop that damage? A DC 20 Constitution save. Over the course of the case, that damage will add up. Oh, and they can't heal while they're suffering too. Sorry, clerics, you stepped into the wrong courtroom. Don't expect Vecna to just sit behind his bench either. This lich knows how to work a room. As a bonus action, he can use his Vile Teleport, allowing him to instantly appear in a space up to 30 feet away. That's useful on its own, but it's called Vile for a reason. Anyone within 15 feet of where he shows up instantly takes 3d6 psychic damage, and Vecna heals up 80 points of damage. Defendants, judge, jury, they're all getting caught in this one. But that teleport combines quite nicely with one of his spells, Fly. With this one spell active, he can teleport above your players' heads, out of reach for any of their pitiful melee attacks. Picture this. Your players take the stand, ready to defend themselves. Then Vecna casts Fly, slashes 2 of them with his dagger, and teleports 10 feet above them, racking their brains with psychic damage before taking off even further up to hit them with stronger attacks later. No shame in pleading guilty, folks. Even with all of that, if your party somehow manages to get one over on old Vecna, he can always get a retrial. That's because when he dies, he doesn't really die. His soul just waits around for a D100 amount of years until he reforms and has to take the bar again. Your murder hobos might think they've won, but just wait until their grandchildren get served. Who's winning then, huh? He may be master of the undead, but Vecna's not without fault. If you want the best results for your case, keep this in mind. Vecna's a lawyer, not a bailiff. The initial 272 hit points he starts with doesn't make him particularly beefy, and might not last long against stronger parties, so you should consider bumping that up a bit. It's the average, after all, and what good lawyer doesn't exploit a loophole? Making sure to use his Vile Teleport every turn and getting the healing from it will also be essential to keeping things going and getting a conviction. Vecna is also incredibly smart. His law firm, or lair if you prefer, should be filled with traps, enchantments, and minions, all designed to help put your players behind bars. Beyond that, he has access to both True Sight and Scrying, so your party probably won't be getting the drop on him. Give your new favorite Lich plenty of time to prepare his case. If he can cast Fly before the battle begins, he'll be able to get right into bringing the pain for your party. Follow those guidelines, and your players will be praying for a plea deal. If only Vecna cared. If you need your party taken out quick, and you want it done right, then you need to hire Vecna. Sure, I've never personally asked for his services, and he might demand your soul and undying loyalty as payment, like literally undying, he'll resurrect you after your death. But who cares when your party finally learns why you're the boss around here? Vecna, he puts the Lich in... Lichages? Sure, we'll go with that. Vecna is not liable for any eternal damnation or soul consumption that occurs while in a case. Payment should be made in the form of souls, corpses, or a new hand and eye, delivered directly to any of his evil towers. Vecna does not accept cases involving the Sword of Caste, level 20 druids, or parties who have discovered Reddit. This offer is valid in any plane of the multiverse except Mount Celestia and Quebec. Oh, creature players.